We got some feedback. Let's see here.
Is that better?
That works. All right. Yes, ma'am.
I got sounds from everywhere.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome, everyone. We got some things going on over here. It's Tuesday, y'all. Look, Marissa, I'm country, so you just have to give me some leeway here because yeah, I'm country. I love it, and now I can turn on my city girl when I need to, but yeah, I'm straight country. So hey, y'all. It is Tuesday, 9 p.m. Y'all know what time it is. Talk Tuesday. Welcome. Thank you guys for joining us. We are here. We want to make sure that we are connected everywhere. Marissa and I are making sure that we're good. So we are going to make sure that everyone's connected, and then we will get started. Before we do that, I want to make sure that everybody has shared the live. Share the live. We are live on Instagram. Both of us are live on Instagram. We got it going on tonight. So Marissa, let me ask you, girl.
Yes.
Because I've been calling you by your government all week long. Do you want me to go to Mari, or are we staying with Marissa?
I'm staying with either one. Marissa, Mari G.
Oh, I was doing it wrong. Mari.
It's the Spanish.
Oh, okay. So if I can get my tongue together, that's what I'm gonna work with, because you know I'm special. Mari. See, it ain't rolling off right.
Sounds like a D,
Marty. Is that right?
Yeah.
Ah.
If you can't roll.
No, I want to roll it. It's not going to work right if I don't roll it. Okay, so we are here, guys. It's Talk Tuesday. I'm so excited about tonight, and we are welcoming our guest here tonight. Miss Marissa is in the building. She's going to share her story with us tonight. So I ask that you come on in, share this live with everyone. And ready to go in. Let me see it in the chat. I don't see anybody corresponding with us. So let me make sure that we are live. Because do you see us on Facebook, Marissa?
I see us on Facebook. I was just on my Facebook.
Okay.
So I see mine.
You see yours, but you don't see mine. Okay, I need to check something.
I can check yours.
All right, y'all give me a moment, because it defeats my purpose over here if I'm in the studio, but I'm not live. So I'm over here trying to roll roll your name off, and I'm not even live. Let's see here. I'm live in the studio, but I'm not live on my Facebook page. So let's see. While we're doing that, y'all make sure you're sharing this live and you're staying connected. You can
It would be live from your business page or your personal?
Both. I have both of them up tonight.
It looks like you're live from, which one is this? It looks like your business.
Okay. I'm live. Somebody over here said, okay. All right.
And it says from the main page.
Yeah, that's right. So why am I not seeing this? Okay, so if y'all say I'm live, I need to make sure, because that's where my people at.
Yes,
on D2 Lorraine, I'm live. All right. Well, y'all ready to go in? Okay, Marissa, let's get it started here. We don't turn the music off. We're not jamming anymore. Say that again, honey. I'm cutting out. It's probably because I'm over here moving on Facebook. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll behave. Okay, so they say I'm live over here.
Yeah, you're live everywhere. I checked. You're good.
Oh well, okay. It's great to have it's great to have assistance. I love it. I love it. Okay, Marissa, I'm not gonna prolong it anymore. Can you hear me still? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but because I'm listening to you on Instagram, it's cutting out for me.
Okay, so let's not worry. Let's see. Okay, can you hear me in the studio where you are?
Well, I got out of the studio because I couldn't have both audios at the same time, but you sound okay for me now on Instagram. You're a little pixelated, but I can hear you.
Okay, so let's do this. You go back to the studio because the studio is where our sound is protruding for everywhere, and from the studio, Instagram will be able to hear us from my volume here. Yeah, I still have you here. So turn your volume down a little bit on Instagram, y'all. This is real live stuff, so this is how it goes. We don't have the background studio just yet. We are 2-3 people work here. Hi everyone on Instagram. Instagram is in the house. Huh?
I see my people. Is the audio good now?
I cannot hear you in the studio.
You can't hear me in the studio.
Go back to the studio and then
I had it muted. I'm sorry.
we gonna get this.
Listening to you from Instagram.
Yeah, don't listen to me from.
My visual to be on Instagram.
Oh.
I don't know how to do Instagram, but we're good. It's okay. You can hear me. I can hear you. I can see you. We're good.
Okay, so I need someone on Facebook to tell me whether you guys can hear us because we're over here giving Instagram life, and we need to make sure that Facebook is good.
We need to make sure Facebook is good.
Yes, we got too many connections on Facebook, y'all. It's only 10 minutes after. Okay.
Hey, Queens, I can't
Shalakemia says she can hear all of us. Hey, girl. Hey. Thank you for tuning in tonight. We love you. Okay. Wait. Okay, Maria. Wait. Okay. Let's see. You left Instagram, so now I can very faintly hear you, and you're not on Instagram anymore. Y'all, we're gonna get this together. That's just barely. Yeah, give me a second. Let me see if I can fidget something over here. Keep talking. I gotta get you back over here. I can't hear you at all now. Okay, so can you jump out of? Let me see if I can get you to jump out of the studio and then. All right, give me a second. All right, let's try this again. I cannot hear you, and that's not going to be good. All right. Okay, guys, give us a moment. She's going to jump out. She's jumping out and she's going to come back in. I'm sorry. Can you guys hear me still? Facebook? We trying over here. We got her people and my people. Okay, so let's see.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
See if you're muted over there.
I'm not muted. I am not muted. Let me see. Hold on. Let me.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
You can hear me?
Mm-hmm.
And I can't hear you.
Okay. Let me.
God.
Link open.
Okay, let's see.
Join stream, leave.
We're coming, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. It's Talk Tuesday. Tuesday. We here. Let's see. Okay. All right, let's try it again.
Can you hear me?
Yeesh.
Is that a yes?
Okay. I still can't hear you.
No? That's
no.
insane.
Okay, so go back to Instagram. I'm just going to have to use your volume from Instagram.
Okay.
Because I can't hear you at all in the studio.
Okay. Okay.
At all.
That is crazy.
Oh, my goodness. It is Talk Tuesday. All right. Let's see here. All right. Okay. All right.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, girl.
Okay. I don't know what's going on. That means it's about to be
Listen, it's gonna be fire. Okay, so now I can't hear you in the studio, but go back over there.
I'm restarting the computer.
Okay, great. Okay. So she's restarting the computer, so she'll be back on video, Facebook, and YouTube, everybody, all y'all. She'll be back on in a minute. Right now, Instagram is showing up for us. So we're gonna go ahead and get started while her computer is rebooting, and we'll get you a face back in just a second. How y'all doing tonight?
I just got a message from somebody said I love her, I assume they're talking about you.
Well, tell them I said thank you. I love y'all too. Okay, so y'all know we've been hitting on the last little over a month or so. We're touching here. This is our thing here. We are bringing insight, awareness, and life faces, all that good stuff to trauma, healing, and purpose. Because we have all of the guests that you've heard over the last, I can't even count now, probably 4 to 5 weeks are examples of healing, or excuse me, trauma, healing, and purpose. And so we have Miss Marissa. See, I want to say it. I want to roll it off my.
You could say the whole government. There is power in the name.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is, girl. Yes, it is.
That's okay. I'm actually going to join from. I forgot I had another phone. I don't know why I was waiting on this computer.
Oh.
See, this is why you don't ever turn in your old phone.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
You never know when you're going to do it. I'm going to try this again.
As long as you got Wi-Fi, you're good.
Yes. And I'm going to turn this volume down so that there's no feedback.
All right. Yes, ma'am.
How are we set? Do you see me? It looks like I'm in the background.
Okay, so we're coming in. It's letting you in. There you go.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you on Instagram. We're not gonna worry about it because they can hear you from my speakers coming from Instagram. So hopefully we don't have too much feedback or anything. But we're gonna get started because no, there's no feedback. There's no feedback. So we're gonna go ahead right in. So if you guys can give us a few extra minutes at the end of the broadcast, please don't leave us because we have some fire for you tonight. We have Miss Marissa here, and I'm not going to do a whole lot of talking right now because I'm going to go ahead and let her get started. She's going to introduce herself to us, and we're going to roll right into her story because she has some fire for you guys tonight, and that's why we've been having all these issues. You hear me? You hear me?
Listen, every new level is a new devil. Not today. Not today.
All right, girl, it's on you. Let's go.
Okay. Thank you so much for having me, guys. Thank you for working through the technical difficulties. I appreciate it. So as Queen Boss Lady said, my name is Marissa, aka Madi G. I am originally from New Jersey. I live in Southwest Florida now. I've been here since 2004. I'm the youngest of all boys. I'm a fur mom. I've worked in the medical field for 12 plus years and recently switched over to the financial side because I'm big about community. I'm big about education. And I've learned that especially for our people, brown and black folks, we didn't grow up learning financial literacy. So I am big on making sure that families have the necessary information to budget, to save, to learn about their credit, to make sure that they have a game plan in place for when they pass away. So having those necessary documents, because I don't know about you guys, but I'm tired of seeing GoFundMe's every time somebody passes away. Absolutely. So definitely just trying to be a resource for the community and making sure that I can provide as much value, not only from my personal experiences, but from the professional side as well. So that was a little bit about the personal side, the professional side, if you will. So I'm gonna let you dive us into the personal, or do you just want me to kind of just keep going?
So here's the thing.
Okay.
Because we hit on trauma, healing, and purpose, we know that all three of those hover over your head, right? So with that being said, when you kind of gave us on the inside here a little bit of background on Marissa and your story, who you are, and all of that. First, I want you to just give a brief background on who Marissa is and all that. You just gave us, you know, you said you were the youngest of our boys. Okay, so you gave us that that little bit, but there were some interesting things that you said in the section where you told us what your story was. So I want
Yes.
you to delve into that just briefly, just a little bit, and then you know what, go full blown, go ahead, and then
Go forward.
we can do those questions, the follow up questions after you tell us a little bit about your story.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think when we, keeping true to the nature of what the conversation is tonight, we talk about trauma, we talk about healing, and we talk about purpose. I think we all, in some way or another, have experienced trauma, not realizing that it was trauma until later on in life. So growing up in New Jersey, I learned at a young age that I have a diagnosis called PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome. And of course, as kids, we don't know nothing about medical diagnoses, right?
No, ma'am.
So, growing up, I was teased and I was bullied because, I had excess arm hair. I was a little heavier or thicker than all of the other kids in class.
Mm-hmm.
And again, not really understanding why, but, those things started to lead up to what led to the lack of self-esteem, the lack of self-love, because when you're being teased and bullied in schools, and then you kind of go home, and again, I said I'm the only girl of all boys. The boys weren't like they didn't treat me bad per se, but they were boys. You know what I mean? They weren't tender, they weren't loving. So I think all of those things stemmed and put together kind of just led into me growing up and having a lack of self-esteem, lack of self-worth, and all of the other things that a lot of us women struggle with, regardless of your size and all of that other stuff. So that in turn led me to tolerate and deal. Am I allowed to curse on this?
Get it in, honey. Get it. Listen, if that's what it takes for you to get it out, it's some people that's viewing that want to have
a raw conversation. Right. Yes, right. I mean, I always like to ask to be respectful, and I meant to ask it earlier and I didn't, but just going through those things in life, you really tolerate more bullshit than you should, because sometimes you think to yourself, well, this isn't that bad, or at least they want me, or at least they love me, or whatever the case may be. So so in one of my more serious relationships, I definitely put up with a lot more than I should have. The lying, the cheating, the sneaking around, the disappearing with my car for hours on end. No physical abuse, but definitely some verbal altercations, some mental, abuse, if you will. Just a very negative and toxic environment. And I know that I put up with a lot of that because I didn't know what my self-worth was. I didn't have the self-love for myself. So I just kind of tolerated it just to have somebody around, to not be alone forever, right? So leading up to that, so that relationship started out 2015-ish. 2016, after I really found out about all of the cheating and how extensive it was, I finally made the decision I just can't be in this relationship anymore. So in order for him to leave the apartment that we were living in together, I ended up moving back at my mom's house. And when I moved back to my mom's house is when I was diagnosed with HIV. 3 days after finding out about my diagnosis, I attempted to take my own life because of the stigma, because of the lack of knowledge. And again, in Black and brown communities, more predominantly, we don't talk about these kinds of things. Later in life, I learned that I actually had a cousin who passed away from AIDS-related complications, and it initially angered me, because if this is something that occurred in our family, regardless if it was drug use, I don't know how she contracted HIV, but regardless of what it was, it existed. And regardless of what your knowledge of it was, as far as education-wise, why didn't we try to learn more, and why didn't we talk about it, and why didn't we educate the kids about it, so that growing up we at least could make more conscious decisions? Because at the end of the day, we can have all the knowledge in the world and still choose to not make the right decisions. And I knew about HIV and STDs and things like that, but when you don't really know and you don't really have that depth of education, you have the thought of, oh, it can't happen to me, because again, the stigma and the lack of education.
Mm-hmm.
So when I talk to people and I talk about my story when it comes to HIV, I always say I'm a heterosexual Latina woman, Hispanic, living with HIV, because all three of those things touch on points that people
Mm-hmm.
don't really think about when they think of HIV. They don't think of a woman. They don't think of a straight person or a
Mm-hmm.
heterosexual person. They don't think about a Hispanic person. So, just using that to kind of break down barriers.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, leaving the relationship, you go back home to mom's.
Mhm.
3 days after you go back home to mom's, and then 3 days after getting back there, you find out that you're HIV positive.
I don't know how long it was between when I moved into mom's and when I got the diagnosis. It wasn't a very long transition, but
Okay.
after I received the diagnosis, 3 days after is when I attempted suicide.
Wow. So not to bring a lot of light on the suicide attempt. I
Hmm.
mean, that's awareness. We definitely want um, folks to have support and to know that it is real.
Hmm.
I've heard on some calls that I was listening to today, some people that I had no idea that actually have that you would never like. I just did a post that we look from the outside, and we look at people and we prejudge them based on what it looks like for us from the outside looking in. And these people that I heard today would never look like the people, quote
Hmm.
unquote, that would attempt suicide. So in that instance, when you found out you were HIV, it kind of, I can imagine that you go through those stages that we talk about in so many trauma situations. There's 5 to 7 stages of grief. There's 5 to 7 stages in divorce. There's so many stages when you are going through a type of trauma. What did you feel? How did you feel? And what do you think made you just feel that way? Like, I mean, what was your first initial feeling?
The first initial feeling outside of the shock was my life is over.
Mhm.
Because not having had education, all you hear about is this is a death sentence. Nobody's
Mhm.
ever gonna love you. Like all of those common negative things that often come to someone's mind when something tragic happens.
Mhm.
So definitely was in shock. I was definitely angry. I definitely was like, oh my God, nobody's ever gonna love me. And again, having been bullied since a young age, I was like, great, another thing for
Mhm.
people to now bully me on. So initially, it was one of those things that, and what ultimately led me, down the path that I did was this isn't the life that I chose for myself.
Wow.
So
I,
why
I
why
think
would I
that's
want to
something.
continue?
Yeah, I think that's a legitimate um, thought that all of us have
Hmm.
when we experience um, things in our lives that when I can remember back in the first and second grade when we did those photos and we all drew the white picket fence and we all wanted to
Mm.
have that family with 2.5 kids and the husband and the professional career and all of that, but it's always, this is not what I chose. This is not where I saw my life being. Like I have both hands up, like both feet up in the air, and so it's what got you to the point where you were able to look at it from a different aspect
I
than
think
what
for
you originally did.
I think for me, it was the support system. I initially told two of my really good friends, one of which who was like, listen, I have a family member that lives with HIV and she's totally fine. Like, I know that doesn't help in the moment right now with what you're feeling, but like, you're gonna be okay. And the other friend was like, we got to tell your mom. And I was like, I don't want to tell my mom. She's like, you need to tell somebody. You know, and I initially told my mom, and of course she had, I think, the typical mom feelings of when there's not education on it. So she definitely processed it in a difficult way. But just being able to, I think, especially the way some things played out, I was working with a entertainment company that hosted like music events and poetry events in the area. And the founder had a best friend who worked for a local clinic that treated individuals living with HIV. And it kind of sparked a, hey, why don't we host an event? And because I'm also the president for the Youth Services Coalition in our area, I said, why don't I do an event for the kids? So essentially, I started advocating for myself, but publicly it wasn't known that it was for me. It was to bring awareness to the community and to educate our youth.
Purpose. Got you. Okay, so one of the questions that we always ask is, what's your definition, Marissa? What's your definition of trauma? Like, that's always a hot seat question.
I'm glad you didn't prepare me, because it's nice to not be prepared. I think for me personally, my definition of trauma is something that impacts you mentally, physically, or emotionally in a negative way. And it triggers other accelerated emotions, anger, outbursts, being short fused, things like that.
I love that answer. So what you're saying is that it's going to negatively impact you, of course, but that trauma is not always a physical thing or even an emotional thing. It can be mentally as well. And now that you're in the financial world, do you agree that you can have financial trauma as well?
Oh, absolutely.
And I know that was totally off topic, but I had to get that out.
I think it helps people realize too, like, there's other traumas, things that happen in your day-to-day life, day-to-day stressors can cause traumas. People get super stressed out. Yes. Yeah.
Grief, loss, whatever. Anytime, what I learned in my journey with trauma is that almost anything, you said a keyword, trigger. Almost anything that you experience that will trigger something else, like you said, that anger or those emotions, and then you're, up here, I even, like I said, I was listening to some other calls today on the famous little Clubhouse app, and someone mentioned rejection. And I know that even like you said, in sometimes in your relationships, it was surprising that there were other people that also agreed that being rejected, whether it's romantically, whether it's professionally, whether it's in community, bullying is even a form of rejection. In some instances. So all of those things can trigger something in you that's going to affect you. And most of the time, it's going to be in a negative way.
Absolutely. And I mean, even just thinking to like the simplest things, because sometimes we'd be like, oh my God, why did I react like that? It's because there was a trauma response. Something triggered you. And I didn't really realize that until, again, something so simple. I was working as an office manager, and we have free coffee for everybody. And there was coffee spilled all over the counter, and I got really, really upset, and like I had an outburst, and I'm like, why can't people just like I lost it, and I'm like, why the hell did I act like that? And thinking back to it, because you really would have thought I was a crazy person. And thinking back to it, it was a trauma response in an argument that my ex and I had. He literally threw a cup of coffee all over my car.
Wow. So I can't let you fly over that. I cannot let you fly over that. Go back, roll back. So something that your ex did while you guys were in a heated argument or situation now is a trigger for you. So moving over to the coffee all over the counter, that it triggers, and now you're just flipping on everybody in the break room because there's coffee everywhere, and because you got coffee thrown on you. Now you just educated someone, my dear.
That's why I said it. That's why I used it, because we don't think of something so simple. So our reactions is simply that sis right there. It triggered her hearing that, because that's not something that I've talked about often.
Look, my chest is over here going butt up. Because listen, those things I experienced in high school, and right after high school going into college. I talk about it in my first book. You Don't Know My Story, about some of the things that happened to me in a domestic violence situation. And I went like 20 years, about 25, and I had a child. Well, he wasn't necessarily a child. He was about 25, 26. But, sometimes these kids can, go left. And I had a situation where he literally kind of threatened me, and it kind of went in this ear, and it was like, bam. And I hadn't even been in that space in 25 years. And it was just an automatic trigger. I was like, I have not had this type of experience in 25 years. You're not about to take me there. But people just don't understand. Sis says, you good because I'm triggered by cars. My heart will stop if I see a Mercedes coupe white. My God. See?
I know that feeling too. And I think people sometimes forget, and another one of my sisters in here mentioned triggers. Triggers can formulate positive emotions, but oftentimes we talk about the negative ones, right? So definitely don't want to get that misconstrued. There are positive and negative triggers, but when we talk about trauma, for sure, narcissistic ex, yes, I know all about that. We don't realize how some of the simplest things can take us back to a negative place if we haven't worked through healing. And that's not to say that you can be healed and still see the white Mercedes and still feel some type of way, because it brings you back, but the emotion is shifted when you've gone through healing. And I think it's important for people to recognize what those little things can be, because even for me, I see a silver Nissan Altima, and I'm like, wait,
oh Lord.
I see a little blue, whatever that other one was after that first one got repoed, and I'm like, wait. So there are little things that I think people need to be more conscious of, and realizing that if something causes you to react in a why did I react that way, I think it's important to stop and dissect, why did that really cause me to react that way? Because that is also a form of PTSD. And I've been diagnosed with PTSD by a couple different people. But I also choose not to give into the PTSD in a sense, and still kind of just acknowledge it and move past it.
I was about to go there, but you hit on it. So you were later diagnosed with PTSD.
by I think 2 therapists and a doctor. So 3 people.
So not to leave that topic, but back to the incident at hand. When you went through those things, did you know it was trauma then?
When I went through like the coffee spilling and stuff, no, I no.
When you went through the bad relationship, when you went through the HIV
gotcha.
diagnosis, did you know any of that along the way was trauma?
No. I knew it was not positive, but I didn't equate it to trauma because, again, that's not something that was ever really talked about growing up. So we don't really hear about trauma and what it means to have trauma or what it means to be triggered. Those are definitely things I learned later in life. And by later in life, I mean like after HIV diagnosis.
Right. And so what about PTSD? Did you know that's exactly what was going on, or were you surprised when you received those 3 to 4 diagnoses?
I wasn't surprised just because I used to work for a substance abuse treatment center, and I would help run some of the counseling sessions or the group sessions. So I've definitely heard the term PTSD. I was familiar with it a little bit, but I never saw myself as PTSD until having gone through the situations that caused me to react in a, or the flashbacks. The flashbacks, I think, were the biggest indicator of PTSD.
Got you. Okay. What did you learn, Marissa, about your experiences, especially with the relationship and especially with the HIV diagnosis, but more importantly, to couple all of that together with your entire story? What have you taken in from just your story alone?
I think the biggest thing for me is realizing that you can't fall in love with potential or what you think the potential of someone can be. Realizing what your boundaries are in the sense of what are you willing to tolerate and what are you not willing to tolerate. What are deal breakers? What's acceptable?
So in other words, you need to have some communication going on. You need to be talking about some stuff, not just falling for looks and oohs and ahs, and
or just the potential of what you think somebody can be. Because I think especially for us as women, us as being nurturers and wanting to see the best out of people, it's like, man, if you just applied this one thing, I know that you could be so great. Like I think K. Michelle said it best. You can't raise a man. That was his mama's job. That was his mama's job. You cannot teach a grown-ass man to act accordingly. He will only do that if he wants to.
You know you're stepping on some toes. It's sis over there. Sis, exactly, you're stepping on some toes.
Because I think this is all just part of reflection. I think we have to really reflect on the situations that we've been in and ask ourselves why we tolerated what we did and reevaluate if those are things that we are willing to tolerate in the future. And when we acknowledge we're not willing to tolerate it and it starts to come around, you need to make the decision to take the action to say, I'm not going to tolerate this. So we need to have a conversation. There needs to be change or I'm out. And I think that's the hardest thing for people.
It is. I think so too, because we want to give people the benefit of the doubt. Listen, we're not perfect. I know I'm not. So I am not going to profess to be perfect, but you have to know what you want. And if that's not your person, and a lot of times people seem to think that we're always talking about romantic or intimate relationships, and it's not just that. It's because the thing about protecting your energy these days is very vital, and especially when you have a PTSD diagnosis, or you have you've experienced depression, or you've experienced some type of loss or grief or because anything can trigger you. You know, they may say the wrong thing or push you over the edge. And I don't mean that in a bad way. You know, I don't want anybody to think, you know, that we're just crazy out here flipping people off or anything. But
we might be.
Don't tell them.
I didn't say that, guys. Just kidding.
Listen, I'm just saying because I'm speak for me. I'm an isolator. I'm a loner, and I'm what you call an ambivert. So if you're not familiar with all those good things, go research it tonight. Because I'm a people person, but then sometimes I just want to be by myself, you know. And so, and it's very important. So you have to know what you can tolerate. And I used to be a people pleaser. So now that I'm no longer a people pleaser, I don't. Well, let me put it like this: I make a lot of people upset or mad or angry or whatever, because for years and years and years, as you know, I just turned 50 a couple weeks ago, and for over half of my life, I put others first. In this season of my life, I have more years behind me that I know of than I do in front of me. Now, whatever God's will is, yes, I'm here for it all. As long as He keeps me, I'll live to be 100. But I'm putting me first because I got to take care of this girl right here. So if it's not that little boy of mine, or you know, something, and sometimes he has to take, you know, give mom a little breathing room, give me a little time. I need a moment because I got to make sure that I'm straight, because I'm known to overdo it, or you know, maybe take on too much, or say yes to too many people.
Yeah,
and when you do that, you put yourself last.
And I think it's important for our loved ones to also realize that, because I'm the same exact way. You can see me out and bubbly, and I love being around people. I'm definitely a people's person. I'm a social butterfly. But when I need my space, I need my space. That doesn't mean you did something wrong. It doesn't mean that I don't like you anymore. Like, no, I just need to refill my cup. I've poured out so much. And now it's time to pour back in. And that might mean I need some time away. I need some separation. And I think that's one of the biggest things that we need to have more conversations about.
Oh, that's good. You might have to come back for part 2 on that, because that's a whole episode in itself, because they need to take notes on that. They need to be aware and all that good stuff, because that's very, very important. So we know you're an advocate for HIV/AIDS. You're a blogger and a financial literacy consultant.
So shout out to the Well Project. I am a blogger with them. So they are a national.
The Wealth Project.
The Well.
The Well. WELL.
Yep. The Well Project.
You didn't give me that. That should have been up on the screen.
I'm sorry. I thought I did. I'm so sorry. But yeah, so one of my affiliations is the Well Project. They are a national, worldwide organization. We have ambassadors in India, Colombia, all over the United States, and they focus on resources for women living with HIV, impacted by HIV, and women specifically. So they provide fact sheets. They have a blog. I'm also a community advisory board member with them. And they just do amazing, amazing work. And they've really helped me find my tribe. So when you talk about, you know, how did you go through the healing process? that was definitely one of them. Realizing that I'm not alone and there is a tribe of people out there who understand what I'm going through.
That's key. Repeat that, ma'am.
Finding your tribe, girl, because sometimes it just comes off and I can't say it again. I swear I need to keep a notepad with me, but finding your tribe and knowing you're not alone.
That's very important. We on this side of the spectrum call that community.
Yes.
So Marissa just informed you guys that when you find people that have experienced what you have, they've gone through what you have, they understand where you are, that's called your community. That's called your tribe. That's called your people, people.
Yeah. That just gave me goosebumps. My people. I love my people, and they know it. And it's so funny. My sisters know me so well that it'll be like, hey, I know you getting ready to take this 3-hour drive to Miami, but I see you hustling. I see you put in work. If you're tired and you need to rest, you don't need to take that drive. And
wow. See? Yeah. It's good to have those kind of people in your corner.
Yeah, absolutely.
It definitely is. Okay, so we're getting down to the wire here, Marissa, and I know that we lost a lot of time in the beginning. I'm not sure how many people we have still with us, but if they are watching, if you are joining in on replay, please hashtag replay and let us know you were here. Let us know you heard what Marissa said today, and that if you have any questions, any comments, anything that you want to know, please let us know in the comments. You can even hit us on the back channel and let us know, because that's why we're here. That's what my platform is for. My platform, when I finally found my niche and my purpose, my platform, because in self, Marissa, can I be honest? I didn't want to do this. I didn't want to do this because I'm that private person. I'm that proud person that you don't literally tell people what you've gone through or what you even are experiencing in the moment. But it was when people would share their stories with me. And when I started to share my truth, I always hashtag my truth because it's my truth.
Right.
It doesn't have to be anybody else's truth. But when I started to release my truth, it was like a weight off my shoulder. It was like I had a breath of fresh air. And then my people started to attract to me, like the law of attraction, because it's so rewarding and so refreshing when you have others that completely understand where you are, what you've gone through, and you guys can resonate with each other. You are a support system for each other, and you, more importantly, you're a support system because that other person may be feeling that they're all by themselves, just as you are, you know. So that's why this is so important for me, and that's why I have people on here every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Rain or shine, whether I feel like it or not. Truth be told, I'm sleepy. I'm really sleepy because I haven't been sleeping all week because I've been so excited. I have things going on in my head. Like I can't shut my brain off, Marissa, because there's so much that I want to get out. So much information that I want to share for people, because there's people that are hurting. There's people that are going through things, and especially over these last few years where they don't know how to talk to anybody about it. They don't want to talk to anybody, first of all, because the fear of being judged, the fear of, somebody being judgmental about their situation. Third, about somebody telling their business or spreading their business or whatever. So that's why, you got to be able to test the waters, test the energy, and you'll be able to know whether this is someone that you can link to. So that's what this platform is for. So we
and
have
I
a
like
comment on
journaling.
Instagram.
Go ahead.
I would love to become an activist. There is so much stigma. People need to be educated. Absolutely. Absolutely. I totally agree. That's a great comment. So, is there anything, Marissa, that you would like to leave with our viewers on tonight? Is there anything that we didn't get to? Because I know we still have a lot that we didn't cover tonight. Is there anything that we didn't get to that you definitely want to mention tonight? And then after that thought, is there anything last but not least that you want to leave with your people tonight?
So definitely thank you, to everybody who's joined on, whether you're watching the replay, watching live, you jumped on late, you put up with our technical difficulties. Like, thank you. I think we definitely hit on a lot of necessary and important topics tonight. And if there's anything that I want to leave everyone with is that this is the start of conversations, but it can't stop here. Like, you have to come off of this live and continue to have those conversations, even if it's just having it with yourself, writing in a journal if you're not comfortable sharing pieces of your story yet, or you don't know who to share your story with. Write it down, because even just the release of the thought of the emotion can lead you to healing. Yeah, absolutely. It can lead you to healing until you're able to find your tribe, your community, your people. And don't be afraid to ever just reach out to people. I'm a big believer in making sure that if you're going to share something heavy, check with the person first. Make sure they're in a good space. But if you need to talk, like if you need to talk to somebody, don't be afraid to reach out, even if it's a family or a friend, or even if you got to dance around the conversation or put it in third person or pretend it's about somebody else. Like, if you have somebody you feel that you can trust, but you need to just kind of dump, hey, I need to emotionally dump real quick. Can you handle it? Are you able to just be a sounding board? Because sometimes we don't need to hear advice, or we don't need to hear opinions. Sometimes we just need to release it, which is why I like the idea of writing. A really good friend of mine also actually does videos. She showed me one of them and hated it because you can see the raw emotion. But if you need to release and writing doesn't do it for you because you need to like physically talk it out, you can record yourself if you feel like that does something for you too. There's tons of outlets. Be as creative as you need to be, but do it in a healthy way.
Absolutely. I totally agree. So if you guys would like to connect with Marissa, she is Mari G Solutions on Instagram. That's where we are in the hot seat over here tonight. Instagram is live. Thank you guys for sharing in and giving us feedback on everything that we have been talking about tonight. Remember, Marissa said, get it out. You have to journal, do some videos, whatever it takes for you to be able to help yourself heal, help yourself get it out. And don't take it as a bad thing that you're experiencing what you're going through, or whatever it may be, because I can guarantee you that you're not alone. You won't be the first, and you definitely will not be the last. So do what you need to do, because until you take that first step to get to your healing journey, you will never start that healing journey, and you'll continue to hold it in. And if you know anything about me, I've made it known that I used to hold stuff in a lot, and I didn't know until I went to therapy, until my therapist was able to share with me, Tawana, what you're holding in is coming out through your body in the form of pain. It's making you sick. It's it's making your body ache, like literally. And I had spent thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars back and forth to the doctor, trying to figure out what in the world is going on with my body and why am I feeling this way? Why is my body literally attacking me and making me feel such and such way? And so it's very important that we do the research and we find out this information, and not only that, that we share it with someone else, because not everybody has privy to this information. They don't know this information, and everybody is not going to tune in on Tuesday night at 9 p.m. because we telling it over here. We helping folks over here. So if you aren't joining in live, and if you are not joining in on the replay, then you need to be sharing the live. You need to be sharing this information. You need to be taking notes so that you'll have this, so that you can share with someone else, because there will be someone that will come up that says, you know, this is what I'm going through, da 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 da, and you'll have some information that you'll be able to share, or you'll be able to point them in the right direction.
Can I give one pro tip? One more thing. Ma'am.
It's all on you. It's all on you.
One thing I learned, and I'm actively practicing it, takes active practice, that if there's anything else I leave with everybody, I think this would definitely be the last thing. Try to practice not looking at experiences and things that happen as good or bad. It's okay to feel the emotion of happy or sad, good or bad. But look at it as a learning lesson. What did I learn from this experience?
Always.
Because when we can look at it from a what did I learn from this experience, it takes away the negative thoughts more so. Positive thoughts obviously are great, but instead of looking at something as in a negative context, what did I learn from it? Because there's always something that you can take from that situation to help you grow to be a better person, to be a better version of you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's a great point. And I had something on my brain, and there it went. So hey.
Shout out to all my sisters in this live tonight, man.
Listen,
I love y'all.
I see your sisters over here. Listen, they are representing.
Heavy. Yes.
I love you guys, and I don't even know who you are. I see all their names, but I don't know their names. So sisters, thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate you. You guys are doing a wonderful, wonderful, fabulous job. And continue what you're doing, because it's very, very vital and very needed.
Thank you so much for having me.
Marissa, we appreciate you coming on. There definitely has to be a part 2. Listen,
yes.
We'll get you back in a couple of months or so. Okay. We'll get out some great information and resources together for everybody, and we'll help some more people over here. All right.
Absolutely. Queen supporting queens. I love all of y'all. Y'all heavy on this chat tonight.
Yes,
I love y'all. Look, Jackie, I've been rocking with since 2014, man.
Oh my God, I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yes, my tribe.
I love it.
I love you.
That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about.
And I'm always open to new tribe members. Don't be afraid. If you think we'll vibe, if you think I could be a sis, don't be afraid to reach out.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much. Marissa, it's been a pleasure.
Yes.
It's Talk Tuesday, y'all. We're out. We'll be back next Tuesday with another awesome story. If you have a story, you think your story needs to be heard, your story is about helping the next one, send us an email to talktuesday@tawanalorraine.com. talktuesday@tawanalorraine.com. You can visit my website for more information as well. We might even have Miss Marissa do a blog post for us. How about that? So thank you guys. Go get some rest tonight. I love you guys. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. Have a great one.
Thank you guys for having me.
Good night.
Good night.
when they blame this. Anytime you a lame, I mention in my name, I think that's why you worry about me. I'm in a groove, they took it from us, now it's just so speed. I'm the one they call on, gotta feed the family, if not, get a call on. Who else? It's the real talk, funeral arrangements, whoever put their calls on. He being a regular, all-pro nigga with the roof and the jaws on. And who else be in the field, front line to the war song. When they talking about me, when they talking about me, all they talking about is me. When they talking about me, when they talking about me, all they talking about is me. When they talking about me, when they talking about me, all they talking about is me. When they talking about me, when they talking about me, all they talking about is me. You know this is who's underrated, who's the most consistent. Who get the real love? Yeah, who the girls love? Who the jails love? Yeah. Good nigga, good home, lot of lives was saved by. Bad boy, rough ride, a lot of money was made by. Real talk, large back, each now commercial with AI. One of the last of the OGs to stay fly. Who else you know where that is in Beanie